My name is Laura Khuu, and my project is based on providing healthier options for those in my neighborhood, which is San Pablo, California. Next slide, please. I am a senior at Middle College High School in San Pablo. I grew up in that area all my life, and I really enjoyed there. Some of my hobbies are running for the Hercules track and cross-country team, along with reading and playing the cello. And due to my involvement in sports, I am very passionate about health and helping others, which is why I partnered with Close the Gap to base my project off promoting healthier options for those in my community. Next slide, please. Something I noticed in my community when I would go to school was that not many places nearby or on campus provided healthier fresh food options. A lot of snacks and sweets were sold at my school's bookstore, and my friends would naturally gravitate towards those options because they were cheaper and more affordable. This expressed some concern for me about what foods were affordable and accessible, and of course, the health concept. Next slide, please. So I identified this problem, which was foods high in sodium, preservatives, added fats, additives, and so much more, were really cheap and affordable for my classmates. They naturally resorted to this because of the lower price points, and not many other healthy food options were available. Next slide, please. Yet healthy eating is so important, and I wanted to focus on this issue because maintaining good nutrition leads to many benefits, such as a boosted immune and digestive system, stronger bones, lower risk for diseases, and longer life expectancies. Next slide, please. Here is the roadmap of my project. As I start off with identifying problems in my community, I then brainstormed solutions, and throughout the project, I sent out surveys, met with mentors, researched, and fundraised until I could host the event for my school. Next slide, please. Based on a survey I sent out to my classmates and friends, only about 1/3 considered their diet to be healthy, while the remaining 2/3 were either unsure or admitted that they don't always eat healthy. Next slide, please. These are some explanations that were submitted in the survey as to why people make the food choices that they do, and many of it related to whether or not the food was convenient and at a low price point. Not many expressed whether or not the nutritional value of the food was something that they considered. Next slide, please. This section just shows that many people will want the lowest price points for their food and wouldn't spend anything over $10. Next slide, please. And lastly, I asked if any of my classmates wanted to learn more about the healthy options nearby, and seeing that majority said yes, I decided to dedicate my impact project on this. Next slide, please. So as a solution to the problems, I decided to host an event on campus where I showcased ways people can make healthier food choices. I purchased snacks to give away as examples and had vendors in my local food church come on campus to give away more meals for free. Next slide, please. Some of my challenges were fundraising and getting collaborators to help, but I worked through these problems by promoting the fundraiser and signing paperwork to collaborate with the food vendors. Next slide, please. Now I'll be talking about the impact of my project. So I made a slideshow, and here are some of the event slides. I presented these during the event, and the slides offered resources, examples, or recommendations in relation to the food choices. Next slide, please. These are some pictures from the event. I hosted on August 18 from 11 to 3 for the public. I started off by presenting the slideshow with introductions, and I had a lot of information about healthy recipes, ingredients, where to find them, and the benefits of getting the right nutrition and vitamin. After the presentation, everyone could roam around. There are tables and booths where vendors, food churches, and I had free catered lunches, fruit, pastry, salad, snacks, drink, and so much more just for free and for everyone to enjoy. Next slide, please. As an approximation, around 120 students came to the event. Around $350 worth of food and fundraising were provided, and over 100 meals were served throughout the event. Next slide. As some testimonials, some of my friends left some comments or texted me, letting me know what they thought of the event and how it impacted them. Slide, please. And overall, this was definitely a great learning experience. Some things that I learned were the importance of giving back to my community, how to positively impact others, and how valuable different perspectives are. Also, from the Close the Gap workshops, I learned about community, organization, and mobilization, along with how to practice public speaking. Next slide, please. And thank you so much all for listening. Are there any questions?
First of all, phenomenal presentation. Great to see it. And man, whenever I see the food, my stomach's getting a little hungry. So while it was a great presentation, my stomach's not happy with that. But great job. Any panelists want to kick us off?
I have a question. I know I have lots of questions, guys. I'm sorry, but um, I'm curious. So, I mean, the full gamut of everything that you did was pretty amazing. From the identifying a problem, potential solutions, fundraisers, all that. I think that's pretty amazing that you were able to do all that. What I'm interested in knowing is what kind of impact or input from your academic advisors at your school, like how is this, or your church communities, like how is this going to live on, and did it make any permanent solutions or suggestions for your school?
I think in terms of the food vendors or the food churches, they always do giveaways every week. So being able to do it at an event versus like handing it out like they usually do was something that they were able to enjoy. And my school also does focus like on the nutrition. Like we have a culinary arts institute. So kind of having my event related to that was something that worked out.
Nice. Good presentation.
Thank you so much.
I think you were right in identifying the price point. The lower price point foods are the unhealthy ones, and thus that's why we gravitate to them. Were you able to find any solutions, options, or suggestions for that? Because that still remains a problem in society.
Yeah, I definitely recognize like the correlation between the cheaper foods and also like the healthiness. And I did find some examples, like for example, a Kit Kat bar is like $1.29, but then you could also get like fruit for the same price point. And I was just focusing on looking at the same price and like what alternatives you can make.
Wow, that's great. Thanks.
Yeah, I want to echo that. A great presentation. You mentioned that you did fundraising, so I was curious, like, how you went about that process. Like, how did you find these organizations? How did you get them to agree to donate?
This is the food church that's like right behind my school, and I just talked to them, let them know like what my event was about, and they agreed. I did like paperwork and signing like liability waivers, but other than that, like getting them to come on campus was something that they usually do anyways when they give out their food. So I just had to like do some paperwork. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. Thank you so much for that, Laura. Great presentation.